I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation is a request from one of my subscribers. Shout out once again to Abraham Isaac. I really appreciate you participating in suggesting content on my channel. I really appreciate subscribers like that. Okay, so this Astro Oracle investigation is on Zhang Weijie. Okay, I have no idea who this was until Abraham brought it to my attention. So, Abraham, I appreciate you. This is a very interesting case. Very interesting. Okay. However, there is limited information. I was able to go online. I looked at a few documentaries. There's not much about Zhang Weijie and her case. But what I did get was enough for me to conduct a reading. Okay, so I'm going to start off with there was a woman married to a mayor in China. Okay, the mayor's name is Bo Zalai. We're going to call him Bo. All right, now the mayor had a secret affair with a newscaster anchor woman by the name of Zhang Weijie. Okay, now, the mayor gets Zhang Weijie pregnant. Okay, so somehow the wife finds out, and there was some confrontations that arise between the wife and the newscaster. Okay, now the newscaster ends up missing while she was 8 months pregnant. Now, I did hear that during these confrontations, it was, they had confrontations. It was said that Zhang Weijie became suicidal. The mayor was taking her through all of these different, ways on how to hide what was going on. Okay, because I guess he did not want it to be exposed. So he was forcing her to quit her career as a newscaster and, to get rid of the baby. And I'm quite sure she didn't want to. And, he was making her give up her career. So she used to go missing a lot and try to commit suicide, and it never succeeded. So one particular day, though, she went missing and she was never seen again. This particular day was February 9th, 2002. Keep that date in mind. I'm going to come back to that. So she gets scrubbed completely off the internet. I think you could only find about one picture of her on the internet, and I have that picture. Okay, so all of a sudden, months later, her body was said to resemble that of a body that was in the Body Works exhibit. It is a museum where bodies, real live dead bodies, are on display. Of course, they drained the fluids out of the body and put this plastination stuff in it, um, and put the body on display. And it's in different types of positions. So there's an 8-month pregnant woman who everyone believes is the newscaster. Okay, of course you can see the picture. This is weird. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm intrigued. But we're going to get down to the bottom of it. Now, check this out. The mayor's wife is the manager of the local plastination factory, the place where they produce these bodies on display at the exhibit for scientific study, research on the human anatomy. These are bodies that people donated, upon their death. They agreed that it was okay. But there's also been some speculation stating that these were also bodies that were supposed to be executed or that have been executed in China, that were also donated to um, this museum. Now, although they could not convict the mayor or his wife on taking part of John Weijie's disappearance. However, a couple of months after that, the mayor's wife later was convicted of killing an English businessman by poisoning him. Okay, so the mayor's wife, although I guess she was able to clear her name from having anything to do with John Weijie's disappearance, we do know that she is a criminal, though. She just played herself. So now they definitely have her under the radar. Okay? Now, during her court case, guess what she did? Or it was speculated that she did. She hired someone in her place to take the stand to plead guilty, and nobody went to jail. Now, that's just a speculation. These people have money. You know how they say money is the root of all evil? This is some wicked shit. This is wild. Now, let's get to this date. February 9th, 2002. I got the planetary alignment of that day in front of me. Being that I have limited information on Zhang Weijie, I don't know her date of birth. I don't know anything. So this is all I have to tap into her energy. And we do know that she vanished from her apartment. Okay. And it was confirmed that she was at a hotel. I guess paper trace, credit cards, whatever. And this was a hotel that she has attempted suicide at before, but it never succeeded. Something succeeded that day, February 9th, 2002. We don't know if it was suicide or murder or just a disappearance to start another life, a new life. We don't know what happened, but whatever happened, it definitely succeeded. So I am going to pull a chart from the etheric realm. I'm going to pull a card that's going to open up a chart, but I'm also going to compare this etheric chart to the actual chart of the day that she went missing, February 9th, 2002. The sun was in Aquarius that day and the moon was in Capricorn. Okay? And y'all know how I formulate time. I put Capricorn moon inside of Aquarius season because I divide time. Time is the sun divided by cycles of the moon. Okay? So when you put a Capricorn moon inside of Aquarius season, which is the 11th house, Pisces is rising. Now, when Pisces is rising, if you look in the house of death, you will see Libra, the partner. So that lets me know that on that day, her partner, whoever she was in partnership with, whoever she was in a relationship with, okay, which we do know was the mayor, had something to do with her death. Now, the 8th house is Scorpio's house, okay? The 8th house is Scorpio's house, but Libra is there. And who is in Libra's house? You see Virgo in the 7th house. That's Libra's house, okay? That is the worker. That is the medical practitioner, okay? Virgo is the medical energy, okay? That is the work ethic energy, okay? Work and health. So what's going on in Virgo's house? Being that we know there was a partner involved, and being that we know that this partner had a lot of medical practitioning work ethic energy, what was going on in this medical field? Well, let's look inside of the medical field, which is the 6th house. Look what you see. Leo. Leo is the energy of public display. Leo is the energy of the spotlight. Leo is the energy on display. Okay? It is the energy of broadcasting. Medical broadcasting. Medical attention. Medical display. You can see it for yourself. Energy doesn't lie. Time doesn't lie. But you got to know how to formulate time in order to get the truth. So, let's go to Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The exact same chart. Libra in the 8th. Her partner had something to do with this. That mayor is guilty. You see how many times I shuffled the hell out this deck while I was talking to you. Okay? The mayor definitely has something to do with it. Okay? It didn't come from no other chart but the one that you see on the screen. The time chart and the etheric chart line up. Libra in the 8th house. This is the key to John Weijie's death. Okay? Now let's follow Libra. On that day, because Venus rules Libra, where was Venus? Being that Libra is in Scorpio's house, we're going to get to that. Okay? Now, Venus was in Aquarius, and Aquarius is in the 12th house of the hidden. Okay? Aquarius is the individual, Aquarius is the group, Aquarius is the organization. Okay? Now, what kind of group or organization are we talking about? Well, it is a group of government agents. You know how I know that? Because look inside of Aquarius's house, which is the 11th house, you'll see Capricorn. And that is where the moon is. Capricorn in the 11th house represents government agencies. The 11th house is the house of groups, organizations, agencies, cults, clans, fraternities, sororities. Uranus is the planet that rules Aquarius. So on that day, February 9, 2002, Uranus was also in Aquarius, which confirms that this was a government agency. This was the inside job of a government agency. This was an inside job of a government agency. Energy does not lie. Now, where's Scorpio? Being that Libra came out in Scorpio's house. Because the 8th house is the house of death. Scorpio's in the 9th house. That is the house of foreign death. It is a foreign death. Okay? And you see how the time that I formulated from America, because I use American time. But even when I use American time, the way I formulate my decks, they always serve me. They give me accurate information. Because I'm using American time, it still has a way of letting me know that this has to do with a foreign death. Scorpio in the 9th, a foreign death. I don't even have to know China time in order to do a Chinese reading on a crime in China. And I'm not even using American time. I'm just over here in America. I'm using universal time, cosmic time, the sun divided by the moon cycles. This is wild. This is wild. Neptune, which is the planet that rules Pisces, Pisces is in the 1st house. Okay? And Neptune, which rules the 12th house of all the hidden activity, is also in Aquarius. So this is a government agent that has a lot to do with this. The mayor is responsible for her disappearance and her death. Because Scorpio, which is in the 9th house, but which rules the 8th house where Libra is at, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Okay? And Pluto is in Sagittarius, February 9th, 2002. And Sagittarius rules the 9th house. And guess what's in the 9th house? The death. The foreign death. The foreign death. And look where Sagittarius is, in the 10th house. It was a successful death. Anything in the 10th house is successful. I'm going to pull 3 cards. Look, I pulled 2 death cards and 1 birth card. All right, check this out. All right, let me show you how her body's on display. Right? So, because the death card came out in the 2nd house. Okay? The 2nd house is where Aries is. We have 2 death cards, one in the 9th, because of course the death in the 9th, okay, because that's where Scorpio is. Scorpio is the energy of death. So it's no wonder that the death card came out in the 9th. This is a foreign death. She's dead. Okay? She is dead for sure. Okay? And the house of death is in the 8th house where the partner is, Libra. And we know that this partner, it was in partnership with the medical practitioner, because the authority figure in the 10th house was the mayor. The medical practitioner was his wife, because Virgo is, the medical practitioner is in the house of the wife. Okay? And Libra represents the spouse. Whose spouse? Look at where Pluto is, because Libra is in Pluto's house. Pluto is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is in the house of the mayor. That is how we know Zhang Weijie is dead. This death has to do with money. Okay? So, in the 2nd house, this is the house of money. Okay? Aries is there. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the first energy. No matter wherever you see Aries at in any chart represents what comes first. No matter what's in the 1st house, that is how you connect the dots. You look at what's in the 1st house, but you also got to find where Aries is at. Okay? So, this was a government funded hidden agenda and murder. You know how I know that? Because Mars on February 9th, 2002 is right here in Aries. Mars in Aries is the most raw and uncut energy of a death. It is straightforward, raw and uncut. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. But it rules Aries first because Pluto rules Aries. Pluto rules Scorpio. So, this was a raw and uncut, government funded, has to be, because where's all this money coming from? Has to be. And then there's a beginning in the 11th house. That's Aquarius's house. But this is where Capricorn is. This is where the moon is. Okay? So this is the beginning. This is where it started. Okay?